today, so that'll melt off. And actually, out where we are, we didn't get hardly anything.
That's true, and hopefully the sunshine does melt a lot of that away.
Yeah.
But I was driving down from Park City. Mountain Vale is packed
Nope.
with snow, and even the country club had a bunch of snow on it. Although they had pins in the ground at the country club.
Oh
As
my
I was
gosh.
driving
Yeah.
past it, I was
Okay.
like, okay, well,
Okay.
But
It's wishful thinking.
yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully it works out for you.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
little,
it's gonna be 50 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
little wishful thinking though, Jen. It's interesting. They let you make a tea time
They
with
sure did.
snow on the ground.
They sure did. They said, of course, they said, please call beforehand in case anything happens. But,
Okay.
and I mean, and the weather will tell me that in the morning whether that's going to happen or not. So I'm going to just dream good things.
that that is great. That is great. We mentioned Murray Parkway. I was in T-Box up in Centerville yesterday, and Chris Newsom was there,
Okay.
and he was just slapping some nugs.
Love that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a great guy. It was
Great guy.
really terrific to talk with him, and he said, yeah, broadly, generally, Parkway's playable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, we just in that particular area of the city, we don't get a lot of snow.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah. Murray Parkway, Four Lakes,
Meadowbrook. sometimes.
Meadowbrook. Yeah, there's a string of courses in the low part of the valley. Certainly, golf around where my office is. I see it every day, and it can be very different weather. John, you mentioned the country club, which is of course on the east bench. It can be very different weather between the country club and down at the bottom of the valley.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Again, coming down from Park City, we got hammered. We had the snow blow about 2 feet of snow off the driveway this week. So
Wow.
You did host a Winter Olympics and will again.
yes, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Well, I'm just glad it happened. I mean, and you know me and snow, we don't get along, but I'm so happy that it snowed, and I hope we get a little bit more. But I do appreciate that it stayed up in the mountains. I mean, they got a ton, and that's really what we need it for. And
So
we need it
true.
more up there than we need it down here.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't snow into like June and July.
Yeah, that's my only fear with
do
this is
need
that we're
some-
not going to get winter until April.
Why is that thought even in your
I don't.
'Cause it's
I'm a
happened
golfer,
before.
I
Oh my
can't. I
gosh.
can't.
And it's happened
Well,
before.
and you're from Michigan, so
Yes.
they certainly get snow, and especially in the Upper Peninsula.
Oh yeah.
It's all wasted there because there's no slopes, but
Right.
they
Well, there are, but our bunny hills are their ski hills up there.
Yeah.
Well, this happened a little bit last year. I think people forget that we had just torrential weather in
Yeah.
early June.
No, I remember.
Yeah, so it could happen, but right now we're just enjoying it. So
All
let me
right.
have it, Paul.
This first hour of the show is presented by Salt Lake City Golf at slcgolf.com or the Salt Lake City Golf app. Season passes are available now. Go to slc.com, get your season pass, and it
'Cause you might be
It is
using
time.
it sooner,
It
sooner
is
than later.
time.
Get it.
and while we're talking here, we're talking about what's open and playable. My home course of Glenmore.
Yes.
I'm just getting a text from Randy Curtis right now saying, "Hey, we think we're opening today, walking only." And,
Well,
and it's West Bench.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, elevation is different where Glenmore is. It can be very different weather at Glenmore than it is on the valley.
Well, I played with Andy a couple weeks ago, and it
Yeah,
was
you
really
did,
nice.
yeah.
And he said to me that if the weather stays like this, he said they started putting water in already.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a little crazy.
Is that season pass usable? Or is that a certain
When
date?
is it active? When does
I
it
don't
activate?
know. I don't know. We are powered by T-Box. It was really
That's
fun.
cool.
So the reason I was in T-Box yesterday, I was in there with Spence Checkets,
That's right.
and Spence did a fitting with Jordan Bloxham of T-Box. Jordan, of course, I think the best fitter in the state, the most experienced. He's done thousands.
Oh,
of
he
these.
took him through the gauntlet.
And it was really interesting. I've seen these before. I've experienced it, but this one was really interesting because of my friendship with Spence, and I've kind of walked along with Spence as he has grown in the game. Reasonably new to the game, 4 or 5 years. Obviously, very athletic man, but he is now applying that to golf, and it's so fun to see him, John, grow in the game, learn in the game. But
What did he get into? What clubs were
he ended up getting into some Callaway AI 200s, a hollow body design, And what was interesting, and this will ring true, I know, with you. You do fittings, and you do this. You see this stuff. There were other setups and other club and shaft combinations that gave him more distance. And people try to get distance. I think that's a mirage to chase that, especially with the iron sets. The send angles matter, consistency matters. You want to know your distances, not just chase distance.
Yeah, no, I think distance is super important. However, this was a couple years ago when Titleist, I'm a Titleist guy, as you guys know.
Yes.
When they came out with their T200, and it was a little stronger lofted, and this and that. Like, I hit a 7-iron, and I'm not the longest player in the world, but I hit like a 7-iron, 190, maybe 195, which to me, I was like, wow, that is amazing. However, when you think about that, like, okay, what does that mean now? My pitching wedge is going to go how far? And so pitching wedge is going 100 and say 50, 160, then how many wedges am I going to have to carry from 160 in? And so then I was like, well, I don't want to carry 5 wedges. So then I ended up going with I think the T100s at that time, and then I'm in the 150s now. But yeah, distance is awesome. But again, if you're chasing distance at some point in time, it might work to be a detriment.
On that T200, which is stronger lofted, you're right. You're hitting that 290. 2 questions. First of all, is that carry or total?
That was carry.
Okay, folks, listen. Only pay attention to your carry distance on the irons. Just don't even look at the total distance. Carry distance is what matters. But then my next question is, what was the descent angle? Because if you were coming in shallow, that's no bueno.
Yeah, back then, I want to say it was probably in the 43 range.
Okay, that's impressive. That's higher than I would have expected.
Because they were higher lofted, or they're stronger lofted, but they were still higher launching irons. And so, but anyway, I didn't use it because, again, that extra distance.
What does it do to your bag?
At some point in time, was going to screw things up at the lower end.
Yeah. So, where Spencer ended up going, where Jordan ended up taking Spencer, was a set of club and shaft combination for him was giving him a grouping, giving him more consistency, shot to shot to shot, which, and you're shaking your head going, yeah, that's what you want. You're out there on the golf course. If you have 163-yard shots, you want to know you can pull a club that's going to give you 163 yards, and that's where they went.
And it might sound dumb, but also a big part of fitting is what looks good and what feels good to you.
I think it matters.
So if you've got another club out there that's going farther or whatever, but you're just like, I can't get past the look of that thing.
Oh,
I love the look of this one. Well, then great.
There's more than once. I have been interested in clubs just for playing around or whatever, and I'll set it down and don't even hit it. I'm done looking at that thing. Curdles my brain. No. And so
same thing with putters.
Oh, heck yeah.
There's a million putters. I'll be like, I put it in my hand, like look down, I'm like, nope, next one.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you.
I can tell just by looking at it. Like, I don't like I can't look at that every single time I putt, because all I'm going to think about is how much I don't like the look of that putter versus the putt that I'm trying to make.
In the second hour of the show, we will play some tape from Jordan and Spencer's fitting yesterday. Now, I produced a podcast last night.
Okay.
You can go with that. We mic'd them up. We got the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
All of the gaps where they're not talking, I left them in there. All of the things when they're talking about
you
soccer,
went 100%
I
raw
left
footage.
it in there.
You went raw footage.
I started to edit, and I thought, no, it's the real thing. It's just so real.
What fitting's all about.
Yeah, and so did the whole thing. It's a really interesting conversation, folks. Now,
did he do a whole bag or just
irons?
Okay,
Just
irons.
irons.
Okay.
Well, irons and wedges.
Okay.
But anyway, geek warning. It's pretty geeky, but we are who we are. I think you're all going to love it. Go listen to this podcast. We'll play some highlights from it later in the show. And you can do that wherever you get your podcasts on the Utah Golf Radio podcast. All right. We need to talk about John Purpur, for crying out loud. John Purpur is the Utah Section PGA Teacher of the Year for the fourth?
No, this is actually for the section. That's only my second time.
Okay.
But I've been to Golf Digest for a while.
Oh yeah, you have. Okay, that's probably what I'm conflating in my mind. The point is, John Papour is a highly awarded, broadly and deeply respected teacher, for the simple reason he is stupid good at teaching the game of golf. And being recognized for the teacher of the year, John, really matters. It is awarded by your peers, people who are teachers themselves, and they look around, they go, "No, this guy Papour, he's got it going on." What does that mean to you?
Well, thank you for the recognition. That's super nice of you to say. I think I'm good because and this is not just me, everybody, a lot of people do this. Like, I have a passion for it. Like, I want to not only help you improve your game, but I want to know more about you. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know why you're playing this crazy game. I want to know if you're a competitor.
Why we're playing?
Yeah.
Because our brains have been rewired, dude. You know that.
Well, true. Well, no. So again, why are you playing this game? Well,
Yeah.
because I'm in the business industry, and there's a lot of business done on the golf course, and I don't want to be that person who doesn't stink and hold up the entire foursome. Okay, great. So now I know that we're not trying to get to a scratch level. We're just
Right.
trying to get you to hit the ball straight and consistently up in the air and keep things moving along. If you're a former athlete, like my brother-in-law is, he was a Major League Baseball pitcher, super good golfer, but he is now super into golf because when he retired from baseball, there was a void. That competitive void was in his life.
That's
and so
real.
now it's okay. Now you're playing golf because I want to keep that competitive juice flowing in my life.
Who's your brother-in-law?
Derek Lowe,
Oh my gosh.
a very good career.
Yeah.
Yep. He was,
Guy was a horse.
yeah, one of very few to have a 20-game win season and a 20-save season in his career.
I know.
So he started
Yeah.
to be began his career as a starting pitcher and then moved to the bullpen
Yeah.
later in his career. So pretty amazing. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
bunch of
He
stats
he
about
he
him.
was walking the Dennis Eckersley
Yes, for sure. Yep, Dave Righetti as well.
path. Rigetti as well.
Um,
Yes.
Yeah, so he pitched on the World Series Red Sox team that broke the curse and all this good stuff.
We love him.
And he was actually the starting pitcher to win the closing game in each series. So he started Game
Yep.
7 in New York
Yep.
against the Yankees,
Yep.
won that one.
Yeah.
Started, I can't remember who they played after the Yankees, or maybe it was before anyway. And then he was the Game 4
Wasn't there a Cleveland Indians in that game?
pitcher. I'm not sure. I just remember the Yankees because
Yeah.
that was like the big thing.
Big
You,
thing.
yeah. You think so?
I remember Derek Lowe because I'm a long, painful Red Sox fan. So before the Derek Lowe.
So listen to this. How a conversation I had with him relates to golf.
Mm-hmm.
In Game 7 at Yankee Stadium, we're watching the game on TV, and the cameras were shaking. Like, it was so loud,
Yeah.
and there was so many chants going on at Yankee Stadium, and I'm listening to that. And I remember asking him several months later, I was like, Derek, how did you focus? How were you able to stay focused in that moment when it was so loud? The stadium is bouncing around. How could you throw a pitch with that precision that you did? Obviously, you won the game, so you pitched very, very, very well.
Yeah.
And he's like, honestly, John, I did not know it was that loud. I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
my
okay.
gosh,
So
you
so
have
we're
to be
talking
kidding me."
about flow at
Yeah.
this point, the
Yeah, yeah.
psychological phenomenon of flow.
Mhm.
No question. Top athletes, top performers, surgeons, people, top performers get into the psychological state called flow, and there's no question it happens when these guys are on the mound.
Yeah.
They're bringing it.
And I was amazed. I was like, Derek, the cameras were shaking on the TV. Like, how did you not
Wow.
know? And again, but you're right. That flow, that energy, state of mind to be so hyper focused on what you're doing that you don't know what's going on around you. So that's baseball, obviously, and there's it might be a little bit more fast paced than golf. Obviously, there's a total similarity of What do you do, even if you're just a casual player, what do you do on that first tee when there's 20 people around you and you're nervous as heck and you can't feel your hands and you feel like your heart's going to pound outside of your body? How do you hit that ball with all that pressure? So again, it's all different, but how do I, as an instructor, one, tell you that that's normal. It's totally normal to be nervous. I used to think nerves was a sign of weakness,
No,
but it's not. It
Yeah.
happens. It means you want to do well. It means you're alive.
it means
It means that
it.
you care.
You
It's important
care.
you
Two
care.
things.
Yeah,
You care,
you care.
and it matters. And those two things are privileges. And Billie Jean King has, I think, the dominant quote in this space: "Pressure is a privilege," and that captures the whole concept that we teach the kids at First Tee. That I think, because obviously these kids are struggling with these things. I get nervous on the first tee. I go, "Wow, that's so good!
Yeah.
I love that." Embrace it, channel that energy, and because it means you care and it means it matters. But so I'm just looking real quick at Derek Lowe's Wikipedia. Says he's from Dearborn, Michigan, which I
Yep.
didn't know, so things are starting to come together. But it says here, Derek Lowe is an American baseball player, most known for being John Papour's brother-in-law.
Oh,
So
right in
I
Wikipedia.
don't think it's
I
Great.
might, okay.
Okay, he's good. He's good at that.
But I want to talk about something that happened with you the other night at the awards dinner. Just really captured my attention. I've been thinking about it a lot since, John. The format is you receive the award, and rather than a traditional acceptance speech, which, they can get blah, blah pretty quick, sit down for an interview with Wesley Ruff.
I love that idea.
It is a great idea. Wesley, of
It
course,
makes it
just such a
so-
skilled interviewer.
Yeah, it
and
makes a great night.
so Wesley sat down and he asked something that I think he thought was a throwaway question. You're laughing, you know where I'm going.
I
Where,
do.
where he said, "John, can you fix even me?" But your answer is ringing in my head. One word. Absolutely.
Of course.
And then you went on to describe it. I want our listeners to hear your answer to Wesley Ruff's throwaway question, but your answer was so substantive, and I think right to the core of why you're the teacher of the year. Absolutely, you can fix Wesley Ruff. Why?
Well, I can't remember exactly what I said that night. However, it is true. Absolutely. If anyone comes to me that says, "Hey, can you improve me as a golfer?" the answer is absolutely. That might take some time. It depends on who you are, where we got to go, and this and that. But there's hope for everybody. I just got to figure out where that hope is and where that hope lies and what we have to uncover to get there. And sometimes it's mechanical. A lot of times it is, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's deeper than that. I have a record for. Let me ask you guys, what do you think my record is for in a 1 hour lesson? The fewest amount of golf balls hit in a 1 hour lesson.
I'm going to
by
go
the
with zero.
students.
Yeah, I'll go none.
It's above zero.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. 3.
Close. 4.
Okay.
Now, 3 of them were warm up. I said, okay, hit a couple balls to warm up. He hit 3 and just just ripped them. I was
Okay.
like, okay, stop. What are we doing? Like, I've
Mhm.
seen this out of you before. Why? Every time you're here, I see you hit great golf shots. He's like, I can't do this on the golf course. Boom.
There it is.
Let's figure out why. Let's uncover it. And so for about 50 minutes, 55 minutes, I started unpeeling layers of my dad. When I grew up, I was taught that I couldn't be this person, that person, do this and that. And I was like, whoa, I'm getting
Wow.
deeper and deeper and deeper. And it was awesome. And so we uncovered so much stuff. There may or may not have been some tears in that moment. But after that, I was like, okay, hit one more. Just we're done. This has been amazing. And he rips another one. I'm like, all right, we're done. So 4 balls hit is my record of least amount of balls hit
What a
in one
great
lesson.
story.
That
What
is
a man.
Well, and
wish I
that's
could've
it's
been
just like you
there.
said. You like to get to know somebody for so that you're able to peel back those layers and figure out what exactly it is that's holding them back.
Yeah, I mean, again, I could have sat there for the hour and just watched him hit great shot after great shot. But why? And then again, why are you here? Like, this is you're hitting it awesome. awesome. I can't do this on a golf course. Boom. Let's figure out why.
Folks, I know there are some of you out there listening to this and thinking, man, I got to get me some John Papore. You're right. You do. John is at Red Ledges, which, yes, is a private facility. It also is home of the Jim McLean Golf School that John is the director of, and they have a really cool indoor outdoor thing on a really cool range. John, how do people get a hold of you if they want to experience this themselves?
Yeah, redledges.com is where all of our programs are located. That also has my contact information. Email is the best. It's john.papore@redledges.com. Shoot me a note. Some people hit me up on Instagram and Facebook. I don't check that as often, but I definitely do get to those messages as well. So Pops22 is my handle on Instagram. And also has some amazing golfers that I've worked with in the past.
Well, you have.
And videos and all that good stuff. So check that out if you're in golf geek mode.
If you're in golf.
I think there's two levels of geek, just like there's two types of golf. There's weather, there's golf weather, and good golf weather. There's golf geek, and then there's Paul golf geek.
Okay,
I didn't point at you saying that you're a golf geek.
No,
but
I
you
am.
brought it up, you brought it up earlier.
I know it. I know
You were
it.
talking about the
It's
podcast
all
earlier. It's
good.
geeky. No, but it's Paul. It's Paul geeky.
It's all good. Look, folks, John did not win this award by accident. Highly recommend spending some time with this man. Just a fantastic teacher, and as you have heard, a really good man with real insight, John. That's one thing I've seen in you over the years that we've been friends. Your insight into the human golfing condition.
Yeah.
It's significant.
That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
Why I'm in front of you guys.
Well.
There's something that brought us all together.
Yes.
Okay, we're all geeks.
Yes, we are. I mean, but you're a special kind.
All right.
You putt.
We before we do the U-Putt, I just want to remind folks the JetX Jug is underway. Go to UtahGolfRadio.com, click on the obvious button for JetX Jug. It's the backdoor fantasy game that we play here on Utah Golf Radio, where we are identifying the players who will barely make the playoffs. So the top 70, we're doing the Bubble Boys, not the top of the list, the Bubble Boys, and it's so much fun to follow the Bubble Boys throughout the year. John, before you go, I want to get your JetX team, and we will. Make sure you go in there and play JetX. But it's time for a U-Pod update. We need some U-Pod update music. The U-Pod update brought to us by our good friends at Scott Golf. Check them out at scottgolf.com. This Utah product, these Utah clubs are so sweet. I love mine. Check them out, scottgolf.com. Jan, how are the U-Pods doing?
Well, Tony finished last week at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am at T22 -8, 136 on rounds of 64 and 72. That's not right.
Nope.
That doesn't even.
We need 4 scores, but let's
Yeah.
move on.
Why did this happen to me again?
Let's move on.
Okay, anyway, he's currently at the Genesis Invitational T33 -1, 141 on rounds of 72 and 69.
So he will make the weekend. This is the Genesis at Riviera, one of my favorite tournaments. I've been to Riv. Brooke and I have been to Riv. It's so cool. You been down there, John?
I have not.
It is so cool.
It
Oh my
is very
gosh.
cool.
It is so cool. And no matter how good it looks on TV, it is startlingly different in real life. It's down in the bottom of a scarf that's cut down to the surface of the earth and protected on high slopes on all sides, and it's land that could only be a golf course, and it is. And it's spectacular.
It is pretty cool.
It is so cool.
Even the driving range is.
Everything
It's
about
ridiculous.
everything about it is so cool. And Tony will be playing the weekend, even though it's an elevated event.
Yes.
It does have a cut because it is one hosted by one of the players, by of course in this case Tiger Woods. So Tony makes the weekend. Very, very cool.
Very good.
All right, we got to send some love to our Zions Bank Player of the Week, presented by Fairway Magazine. Westminster University's Andrew Alstrom won last week's Copper Rock Am. getting his first PPR victory. He shot -5, 139 on rounds of 71 and 68 to win this tournament and become the Zions Bank Player of the Week. We will hear from Andrew later in the show. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we will be talking with the Utah Section PGA Professional of the Year, Marty Bauer. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio coming back at you. We're in the mothership today, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah, in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. This first hour of the show brought to us by Salt Lake City Golf at slcgolf.com, where season passes are available. Go get yours. We are powered, as always, by T-Box at tbx.golf, where they have cracked the code on the whole golfer experience with clubs, coaching, and community. We will hear more T-Box stuff later in the show. You're going to want to stick around and listen to that. We are joined now by one of the leading lights in the Utah game, Marty Bauer, the Director of Golf and actually the Operations Officer, Chief COO of Glenwild Country Club, who was recently honored as the PGA Section Professional of the Year. Marty, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul. How are you this morning?
Fantastic. We're so glad to be able to talk with you. We're here with your colleague, John Papor.
Marty B.
Hey, Bob. How are you, buddy?
What's up, bud?
You guys have met?
A couple times.
Okay,
Yeah, a
yeah.
couple times.
So we're sitting here with Utah Section Royalty, the player, the Pro of the Year, the Teacher of the Year. These are two of the two top honors given by the Utah Section. It's really a pleasure to have you both with us today. Marty, there's so much that I want to talk with you about and for our audience to hear about your journey. But I want to start with this. It is frequent over the arc of this award, the Professional of the Year, that it is somebody who is currently or recently has been an officer of the section, and for good reason, because they serve the professional community so deeply in that role. Marty, it is noteworthy and I think speaks to your stature and your excellence that you won this award not being an officer of this section. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that.
I've got, of course, a fairly decent understanding, but I want to hear your take. What got you there? What got you this award?
Well, I think it's, I don't think it's ever an award of, who is actually the best golf professional over the last year. They're a bit of an achievement award, and well deserved in that. You mentioned the section officers that tend to end up being our golf professionals of the year. They do so much work for us over long periods of time that they're very well deserving of that, and there's a reason why that tends to be a little bit more of a trend. But I think for me in this case, over this year, it's just been a lot of years of developing our golf professionals at Glenwild and getting them out into other bigger roles in the golf industry, whether that's within Utah or somewhere outside of the state. And also, just the time of helping out with other, section activities. I've been able to be on some mentoring panels over the last few years to try and help out some new associates that are coming into the section. So I think it's more of a, just perseverance award of doing good work over a period of time. And our business is all about connections. It's all about relationships. And as you had mentioned as we got on, I've known John for a very long time. He's an amazing golf professional and well deserving of his, I don't know what number this is, Teacher of the Year award in our section. He's one of the best that we have. And these awards are about the time that you spent, the network that you built, the people that you affect over your time in being a golf professional.
Yeah, and if you know Marty Bauer, you know that what he just said is exactly correct. He's into the position of building other people up and building up his staff. Marty, you said something at the award ceremony that was brilliant, and I've heard you say it in the past. It's your next best assistant professional. The first question or the first thing you say to that person is, all right, we're now working towards your next job. And that's deep. And I think you were told that as well by one of your mentors growing up. And it was funny, you said, oh my gosh, what did I do? This is day one. Did I screw up already?
they're already pushing me out the door.
Yeah, it's, I can take zero credit for that at all. That was actually told to me on my first day of work for a gentleman named Tony Pancake, who was our National Professional of the Year a couple years ago, who is, one of my big mentors, and he was the first golf professional to hire me. And, he told me on my first day, today's the day we start looking for a better job. I've just that's really stuck with me as to what type of business we're in, and that we're here to help each other and we're here to build each other up, and we're not going to put a bear hug on anybody. We want to let them spread their wings and grow and hopefully get out there and get a better job.
One of the things that comes out of this exact characteristic, John, that you're talking about for a pro like Marty, is that he ends up with the equivalent of the coaching tree. Let's say Bill Belichick, for example, has this web of his former assistant coaches who are doing great things. Marty, you have that as well. Talk to us about your coaching tree, your pros tree of people you have helped nurture and mentor along in their careers.
Yeah, just kind of back to that last statement that Tony Pancake had helped me with as I started my career, and I came up under a few golf professionals who had these big trees of guys and gals who had gone out and achieved their own job and a better job than what they had working for these other pros. And I've just tried to take that with me of wanting whoever is working with me at the club to get up to that next level. I know they all want my chair, and they should want my chair, and hopefully that's not at Glenwell, but in another club. But we've just been really successful in being able to just give them the room to grow and to learn and to fall on their face every once in a while and be there to hold them up and pick them back up and dust them off and move them on to the next project that they're going to be successful at. So we definitely have a strong Glenwell presence, especially in the mountains here in Park City, of our golf professionals that have moved on to be leaders of some of those other clubs, as well as some clubs in the valley and some other clubs out of Park City, and honestly some jobs that aren't necessarily in the golf professional world anymore. We have one of our big success stories will be one of the next reps for Titleist at some point. He's currently working for the company in Carlsbad, and he's kind of on the short list for one of the next rep jobs. But our goal is to help you find whatever that next step is, and figure out the tools you need to get there.
Yeah, that is interesting. And relative to Titleist, Terry Outson, who has been in that role for a long time, is preparing to retire. We will talk with Terry when he gets closer to that date. But you're doing this, Marty, even right now. Last week we had your assistant Cam Katraba on the show to talk about what he's doing with his Young Pros mentoring program. And when we were talking with Cam, one thing that struck me is that what he has built and what he is accomplishing could not be done at every club. Every pro shop wouldn't allow or nurture that to happen. And it makes sense to me that it happens in a Marty Bauer pro shop. Talk to us about that, please.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Cam is just an impressive young guy.
Yeah.
And when I say young guy, Paul, you were in the room, and John, you were too, last week when Wesley asked him how old he was, and he said 23, and I watched jaws drop on the floor all over the room. So he's just he's such a driven young man, and he came to me right away and had asked me what he could do to just network, to understand how to make connections with other pros. And we talked about it a little bit, and through some of those other connections, he started to realize that he could be a mentor, and he could be somebody that really had an effect on others, even though he's only 23, even though he's just starting out in his career. He can really help some other younger associate golf professionals who are just going through the PGM program, which is really difficult thing to do while you're working a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and he can help those people get through it. And he's now mentoring some guys and gals who are significantly older than him, and doing a really effective job at it. And it doesn't take away from anything he's doing at Glenwild. He still shows up for work every single day and does his job, and he's just dedicated on the back end to spend some of his own personal time to further his career and to make some more connections and network because of that.
One of the things that was talked about during the presentation at the awards banquet was your and your wife's unusual journey to Utah, and you're still here, for which we're so grateful.
One more year.
One more year.
One more year. That's right.
We're taking it 1 year at a time here, folks.
Yeah.
And you're 20 years into it now, Marty?
Yeah, this is my 20th year in the state of Utah. It's officially the longest place I've lived in at one point in time in my life.
Wow.
So it's become home. My wife Kelly and I, we absolutely love it here. We found a home. It hasn't always been easy, and we don't expect it to be easy as we continue to move forward. But we had some rough times at the beginning. We got here in the 2006 for me, 2007 for her, and ran up through the financial crisis kind of at the end of 09 into 10, and both of us had lost jobs at that point due to the crisis, and we just started to figure out how are we going to stay here for a little bit. We wanted to be in Utah for a little bit longer, and luckily it really worked out for us. But whenever somebody asks us, how long do you think you'll be here? Will you be here forever? We always say 1 more year.
1 more year.
Because we survived and survived back in that time, and that's the goal. Just 1 more year, and we'd love to be here a long time, but we just take it 1 year at a time.
We so hope you'll be here a really long time, but let's go back to the very beginning. A pretty remarkable story. You kind of breezed over this, but you came in 06, Kelly came in 07. That's got to be hard, man. How'd you guys get through that?
Yeah, it's it helps when you've known your wife since I was probably 6 and she was 2, and our dads went to high school together in a really small town in Pennsylvania that we grew up in. And, it was a great place to be from, just a difficult place if you want a more of a professional career nowadays. But it was a wonderful upbringing. So we've known each other forever, and that helps. It certainly wasn't easy being away at the time. We weren't quite married yet. We were still dating at that time, but she had just started a new job in Indianapolis where we were living when I had the opportunity to come to Park City and come to Park Meadows to be the head pro under Clint Whitehill, and it was something that she wanted me to do and chase my dream of living in the mountains for a little bit. I love to ski, so it was an opportunity for me to make a jump and do it as a career building exercise, not just want to come be a ski bum for a year. And she was very supportive, and that's just, I think, what's helped us through a year like that. She was happy for me to do it, and after she visited a couple times, she was hooked. She thought she was a beach girl for most of her life, and she realizes now she's very much so a mountain girl.
Oh, mountains are better.
For sure, I agree.
That is so cool, and it was fun for me. I was able to go meet her and talk with her a little bit after the dinner broke up, and that was a nice little treat on the evening for me as well. Well, Marty, we're so glad you're here, folks. There's something I want you to know about this man, Marty Bauer. I have, John, some personal experience here that is really meaningful to me. Glenwild is a leading private facility on a national scale. It has a national membership, and we all know it is very private. Marty, several years ago, when we first met, you said, you know, Paul, first tee does not fit our business model. We're not going to be able to host programs or have events here. But I'm quoting you now, Marty. You said, I love what you're doing, and I will always find a way to support you. And that's been, gosh, 10, 12 years ago. And folks, what I want you to know is over the arc of years, unprompted, Marty Bauer, a man of integrity, with an eye to service for others, and with legitimate concern for the kids in our communities, Marty Bauer has delivered and has found ways to support the kids at First Tee over time, different ways at different times. Marty, that is so deeply impressive to me, and I'm so deeply grateful to you and to your members who have supported you in doing this as well. It really matters, and I want people to know that's the kind of person we're talking about here. Thank you so much.
Well, those are really kind words, Paul, and love what you do. You are shaping the future of our game in so many ways, and I think we all need to figure out how we can support you in that, and not everybody can do the same thing, but we're trying to do what we can do from a Glenwild standpoint. We just need to help you out and help you get these next wave and generations of golfers started in the game. So we really appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. These kids matter.
Yes, they do.
And I so appreciate it. Well, Marty, we are so grateful you and Kelly have stayed. We're cheering for one more year. And then next year, we're going to be cheering again for one more year. We love having you a part of the Utah Golf family, and just so proud and really excited about your award as the Golf Professional of the Year. Congratulations. Good stuff, man.
Well, thank you, Paul. One more year, and
One more year.
Off. We'll see you soon. So you guys have a great day.
You got it. Yep,
Thank you.
Marty Bauer, one of the few Penn State Nittany Lions that I really enjoy. Being a Michigan man, that's tough for me to say sometimes, but
boy.
Marty's it.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Go Nittany Lions. Thank you, Marty.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
See you, Marty. Good job, bud.
That is Marty Bauer, the director of golf at Glenwild. He's one of the good ones, John.
Yeah, no, super deserving. When you look up PGA Professional of the Year, it was only a matter of time that Marty was recognized as
That's a
that.
good way to put it. You're right.
And like you said, like it's an achievement. Like it wasn't.
It is kind of a career recognition.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
It wasn't just what he did last year, but
No.
over the bulk of his last 20 years being here in Utah and growing the game and helping us professionals out, and again, having that network available is huge.
Really incredible stuff. All right, we gotta take a break. Pardon me. When we come back on the other side, we'll talk some things and stuff with Mike Alleman of You Into Golf. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Utah Golf Radio, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. This first hour of the show is presented by Salt Lake City Golf at slcgolf.com, where you can get your season passes now. Go do it. And we are powered, as always, by T-Box, tbx.golf, where they have cracked the code on the whole golfer experience with clubs, coaching, and community. Get yourself to a T-Box, folks. We are joined now by Mike Alleman of Uinta Golf. And Mike, we need the things and stuff we need to talk about today is some Titleist irons, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I love Titleist irons.
Me too.
We are here with John Papore. He's showing me the Titleist logo on his jacket. John, Titleist guy, and
I've been Titleist for a long time. In my biased opinion, it's the best equipment out there.
yeah, I paid for college with Titleist clubs, and I still actually kind of keep them around because they're nostalgic for them. But, great clubs, and obviously you guys carry and feature Titleist irons at Uinta. What's your experience moving Titleist irons, and what do we need to know about what you have in the store?
Yeah, I play Titleist irons myself. I play the T100 irons.
Okay.
But I mean, they have everything available from your highest level player to beginner to just a weekend warrior kind of golfer. Some people shy away from Titleist. We hear it a lot when we're fitting people for clubs and having them try out a wide variety of brands and types of clubs. A lot of people shy away from Titleist because they think it's only for the really good players, and that's not entirely true. So for the weekend warrior, the more amateur type of golfer, the T350 iron is that iron for that type of golfer, and I think everyone should at least give it a try, and you never know until you try it. So so anything from the T350 all the way to their 620 NB, their muscleback blade iron for
Classics.
definitely the highly skilled player, the better ball striker. But anything in between, they have an iron offering for everybody. So after the T350, you have the T250, which is kind of your player's distance style iron. That's going to be kind of comparable to the TaylorMade P790 and Callaway Apex, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, this new iron that they had, it came out last year, but really cleaned up the look on them. On all iron heads, they're a really good looking iron. And then from the T250, you go to the T150, which is very comparable to the T100, which is your better player iron. The T150 is basically just a stronger lofted version of the T100, and that's for the better player that's just looking to control their launch windows, maybe control their spin a little bit. If they're a little higher spinning, higher launch. That stronger lofted iron is going to help hit those windows a little better and control the spin a little bit more. And T150, T100, T100, like the old AP2 from Titleist. It's just that classic better player iron, comparable to TaylorMade P770. Yeah, it's just that classic player style iron.
So, John.
And,
oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
no, one thing I was going to say is the irons did come out last year, but Freecell has just opened up on a new limited finish on these irons. It's called the Oil Can.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the bronze style finish that they had on their Vokey wedges last year. So I can't remember what the release date is on those irons, but they are available for pre-sale. If anyone's interested in those, go take a look at them online. They are a fantastic looking finish.
And the face will wear on these oil can finishes, where you get a lot of impact, right? Is that, am I correct about that?
Yeah, it takes quite a bit of time, but
Yeah, but it's
anything
really cool when.
Yeah, any time you get like a black finish or like a limited black finish or anything that's not just their standard chrome, don't expect it to look brand new for forever.
No, I like that element.
As long as that wear pattern is on the center of the
Yeah,
club.
well, okay, we're
If you're
assuming
wearing out
that.
the toe,
Yeah, that would be
you don't look as cool.
You don't
You're
want
not as
that.
cool.
So during the break, Mike, John and I were talking about his bag, and John, good player, but John, talk to us about you going from the 100s that you carried for a while, and now you're gaming the 150s, and it's an interesting discussion that we had. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's because I'm getting old was the
Well.
end of the end result there. No, I love the 100 and the T100 and T150 line right in there because it's got the look of that blade, but it has the forgiveness and the playability and the workability of more of a cavity back iron. So that's where I have always loved it to fall into that realm. And yes, when the 100s came out, I moved into those, but then I have moved into the 150s now just because they are stronger lofted. And in the shorter irons anyway, I do like the fact that the ball comes out a little longer is the end result, but not with the super high trajectory. So I like that lower launch, further distance, where I can still spin the ball and hold the greens. But then I went to, I think I started with a 7-iron, 6-iron, 5-iron. I went to, I bent them 1 degree weak. So
And did that make them equivalent to the 100s at that point?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did that just for my distance gapping was the whole reason why I did that. And then I did go into the T250 in a 4-iron. Just because when I hit that, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
that was awesome. So my
I
4-iron
actually
is
have
that.
the same setup for myself too. I have T250 4-iron and T100 the rest of the way.
Love it.
So yeah, it's great.
I do a similar thing. I've got the U line, a U500, and so it's a few years old at this point in my 4-iron. So I've got that Titleist driving iron in my bag.
Yeah, I
Love
do
it.
3-iron in the 505.
Okay, in the 505. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that is really interesting. Look, folks, Mike makes an interesting point. Titleist is associated with better players, no question, and there's a history to that. But the Titleist offerings go all across the whole gambit, and folks, I really encourage you to go in and go into a Uinta, check out all of the Titleist clubs and what they might do to fit your game.
Yeah, it looks like a player's iron. That's where, again, some people get scared away. But it is still a very playable, forgiving, workable club all throughout the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One more thing with Titleist, not associated with irons, but about a week and a half ago, price drop on their drivers, the GT series.
Oh.
So went from one of the more expensive drivers out there to one of the more reasonable ones out there. So they dropped from $649.99 to $449.99, so a $200 price drop.
Holy cow!
And that price isn't going anywhere. Could be a sign of a new driver coming here in the next few months, maybe midsummer, late summer, something like that. I haven't heard anything yet, but great price drop on their current line of drivers, though.
I've got the GT in my bag as well. Love that.
Yeah, they do a 2-year cycle, so I think they are coming out with woods this summer because they came out with irons last summer. So, but that is a heck of a price for that JT.
Yeah.
So jump on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I paid more. All right, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. Uinta, 5 of them across the state, north to south. They're in Riverdale, Sugar House, Sandy, Orem, and St. George. So there's one near you. And go on in and check out the Titleist irons at Uinta. Golf. Mike Alleman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
Mike.
good day.
Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, something really special. We will speak with Don Branca and Ron Branca, two of the real leaders and legends of the game. But we're actually going to be talking with them about their father, T. Branca, who is in the inaugural class of the new Utah Section PGA Hall of Fame. Cannot wait to have this conversation.
Legendary.
Legend. Absolute legend. Check it out on the other side. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. That means Utah Golf Radio coming to you live today from the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700 in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Team Utah. This second hour of the show is presented by College Coaches Connection. Check them out at collegecoachesconnection.com. They will be able to help the kids in your life find the right college to go to play golf, play other sports. College Coaches Connection they've got the program. They've got it going on, Jan, to help make things work for that. We are powered by T-Box at tbx.golf, where they have cracked the code on the whole golfing experience for clubs, coaching, and community. Check out a T-Box near you. It's a fun place to go if you want to go hang out at a T-Box. And Paul and Jan with you today. We are joined now by two legends of the game in Utah, and talking about a legend of the game in Utah. We're talking about T. Branca with Ron Branca, his son, and we're still getting Ron's brother Don on the phones. Let's start with Ron Branca. Ron, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul.
We're so glad to have you here, Ron. Ron, there's so much we want to talk with you about you, because you have done so much in the game. You are a legend of the game, and it is absolutely coming that there will be a time when we're going to be talking about the career of Ron Branca. But today, Ron, we want to talk about your father. T. Branca is a member of the inaugural class of the Utah Section PGA Hall of Fame. Will be inducted in a few weeks in a ceremony March 25th, I believe. T. Branca, a legend in the Utah game, and your dad. So many questions, but let's just start with this. When you think about this man, what do you think about first?
You know, Paul, first of all, a legend in my case just means I got old. Thank you, though. I appreciate you.
Oh, you've done so much, Ron.
And your kind words. But my dad, my dad really was a legend. He was one of those people that just lived golf, basically 7 days a week, morning till night. He is the consummate golf pro, and he was fun to be around, and was really a very good player.
You know, I actually never had the opportunity, the privilege to meet him myself, and yet I knew about him. How do you not? How do you not know about T. Branca? And one of my earliest memories of him, if you remember, it would have been 1975 or 76 or 77, somewhere in there, when Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer came to and did an exhibition at the country club in Salt Lake.
Yes, remember it vividly.
Yes. Okay, I was there. I was there, and I was just some guy in the crowd, but I was there, and I remember among the many memories from that day, looking kind of across the way and seeing T. Branca and saying, "Oh wow, that's him. I've heard about him so much." And even in a day that had so many other things, obviously Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and his brother, and if I recall correctly, Arlen Peacock.
Yes.
There was so much going on that day, and yet I so vividly remember just staring at your father going, "Oh my gosh."
You know, that's kind of you, Paul. That was a fun day. We had basically about 5,000 people there to watch one group play, Arnold and Jack and Don and Arlen. Don and Arlen were the two past reigning state amateur champions. And that was really a fun day, pressure-packed day, and obviously my father helped put that whole thing together.
How is it he originally? I mean, he's so associated with the country club. He was there for 50-some years. I don't know the exact number. What was it? How long was he at the club?
Just 53 years at the same job.
Only
Is all.
53 years. Okay, so he was there for 53 years. So obviously, there's T. Branca, the country club T. Branca. It's just all the same thing. In a lot of people's minds, that's how I grew up, aware of the country club, aware of your father T. How did he first get that gig, and what was he doing before then? Tell us about the journey to get there.
Well, the incredible thing about that, 53 years he was there as the head pro, but he basically grew up there as a child. He used to go up there and caddy, and he was a very skinny kid, still a good player, but because he was so thin, they nicknamed him T, and it actually stuck, and he had that, he had his name legally changed to T. Branca. So
Really?
he had been around there since a child, grew up through the ranks, was a caddy master there when caddies were still around, and then worked his way up through the ranks, and actually was at Fort Douglas for a while, and came back and took the job as the head pro at the country club. And then was the head pro there for 53 years, which I don't think there was any private club head pro that had more time and grade in service than he did in the entire country.
I can't imagine there would be. How old was he when he got the job at the club?
You know, that I'd have to almost backtrack that. He retired at age 83.
Okay.
So if we can take 53 off of that, that pretty much tells us both.
Yeah.
I think I do remember the only longer living service in the PGA was Byron Nelson. But obviously Byron was on the tour, but T was a PGA member for 53 years.
Amazing, unbelievable. On hole number 11 at the club, which is the signature hole of the country club and one of the great par fours one ever could hope to play. There is a bridge going over the little creek that fronts and then goes down on the right side of the green. There's a bridge to walk from the fairway over to the green complex, and it is the T. Branca Bridge. And on that bridge is an inscription that describes your father as a gentleman, a friend, and professional. Now, what's striking to me about that is that this consummate golf professional, as you just noted, with the longest tenure in a job in the nation, it listed him as a professional third and listed first gentleman and friend. I think that's pretty significant and impactful, and I'm interested in your thoughts about that, about your father in that way.
You know, that kind of says it all. That bridge was basically somewhat of a copy of the bridge at the Masters, and he was honored at like 2 in the afternoon and midweek. And just to follow up with what you're basically saying, he was so well liked and appreciated. 300 members showed up at 2 o'clock in an afternoon and either walked or drove golf carts out to that bridge just to honor him. And that was an incredibly memorable day for our family. But he was really a special person. He just found a way to make sure everybody, when they came to the club, that they were to leave their problems other places and just enjoy the day. And he made it fun for everybody. And his service was recognized on that plaque, and it's really fun to read that plaque. I have to honestly say that when I go back and play that place, I tear up every time I cross that bridge thinking of him. But he was a remarkable golf professional.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things you mentioned, he's a good player.
I'll say, yeah,
Yeah.
very good player.
Talk to us a little bit about his work inside the ropes.
Well, Don and I were young when he was in his heyday, but I remember he won the City Parks 5 times. His scrapbook is 6 inches thick. It's a work of art in itself. I caddied for him in his last City Parks at Forest Dale, and he was playing another really good guy, good player, left-hander by the name of John Moss. And through the first 18 holes, he had John Moss 3 down, and I think if I remember correctly, Dad was in his early 50s and John was in his 30s about that time, and T had played an incredible front 18. In those days, it was a 36-hole final, and he was 3 up through 18. Had really bad leg circulation. Went home, literally took a bath. Legs were so aching. Walking was difficult for him at that time. We went back, and he put up a great fight, but John eventually came back to win that. I think either 1 or 2 up. And his comment in the presentation was, "Youth must be served," and I've always loved that comment. He was very gracious, and John Moss was very deserving and a great champion.
Being the son of the professional, that means that you and your brother got to be raised hanging out at the club, and yet you couldn't screw around, because you were the pro son. What was that like for you?
You know, it was awesome. Yeah, you're right. That place was a great place to grow up. And back in those days, things weren't quite as rigid and as maybe they are now, just due to the crowds and the amount of people. But he hit as best he could, and we practiced in the afternoons, and we used to go over and bug Tommy Reese and Dick Kramer at Bonneville as we were growing up in our real young youth, and we certainly enjoyed that. As we got older and got to high school age and college age, we would play there as much as we could in the evenings and practice in the evenings. But he was really my father, because he grew up in such meager environment, very poor. His family was very poor, and he worked his way up. But he was really one that advocated for the underdog. And I remember when I got that job following him, the board said, "We loved your dad, as honored by that bridge and so many other things." But the comment at that time, when the Donut Man can play the country club, "We just need you to tighten things up a little bit." So when I got that job, things had to be tightened up a little bit. But he was definitely for the underdog. Loved to have kids around when they could. We had a caddies day, and kids could play, and he was really a champion for youth and people that maybe didn't have as many great opportunities as Don and I had.
Talk to us about getting the job. You obviously you had your own resume. Rose Park, Wing Point, and but still, the club is the club, and your name's Branca. Oh my! To me, that's big time pressure in addition to big time opportunity. What was that like for you?
It was really awesome. When I left the club and I got the job I was at Rose Park for 17 years, and then I moved over to Wing Point, and I was at Wing Point when it opened. I was there 3 years, so I had a lot of head pro experience. But I remember when this job came available, there was over 100 applicants for that job, and even though I'd had 18, 20 years head pro experience, there was people that had applied for that job with even more experience. And let's face it, I'd like to think I had earned that. I had a good college career and was a reasonably good player. But that being said, it was my father's influence that was the tiebreaker. And I remember even when I got that job, I was proud to get it, but it was offered to me with a 1-year contract. And let's see how you do, bro. So
okay.
I was there 22 years,
yes.
But I never forgot that. So thanks to my father, that was the tiebreaker.
Okay, that's great. That's a little detail. It's good to know, because between you and your dad, you had 75 years.
Yeah, can you believe that? That even as I sit back now, I've been retired now about almost 10 years, and I think that he and I were there for 75 years, and how many great people and great members. That was, boy, if you have to work for a living, that was a good place to work.
Valid point. Well, one thing I hear you saying is that I was wrong when I was this young kid going to the club. The first time I ever set foot on the property, that was that was exciting and intimidating all at the same time. Being able to see those holes in person and the whole day just is so etched in my memory. But as I remember so clearly, looking across the tee, it was the third tee when I really was able to I really focused in on your father. Holy cow, that's him. I felt like he was unapproachable. Like there was no way that I could ever talk to T. Branca. And what I hear you say is I was stone cold wrong. That he was approachable and respectful to anybody and everybody. That makes sense to me. But I didn't know, it at the time.
That is, yeah. I think there was, because he'd been there so long and he was such a good player. There was a certain air about him that, at first you would be a little bit intimidated, but he was always so happy and smiling in the way he greeted people, and those fears would go away really quickly. And even I remember Jack and Arnie. They'd been there a few times. They actually signed pictures, and they were in the pro shop for a while. They were very gracious with my father, and he was with them, and they had kept in contact from time to time. He was just one of those people that it was nice to be around, and I think that's one reason that they had agreed to come there and put on that exhibition. And just a further note is, if Don is not going to be on the phone,
Yeah, it looks like we can't.
he had a remarkable experience playing with Arlen, and he and Jack and Arnie, and I remember when he hit his first tee shot off that first hole with 5,000 people watching. He had to wait for that day to come for like 3 or 4 months, and the color came back in his face. But he played remarkably well. And one particular fun thing that I think would be worth noting, on the very first hole of that match, Don had hit it in there pretty close, putted it up. And for those of you that are listening that have played the country club, the greens are extremely fast.
Yep.
And Don ended up with about a 3.5 footer, right to left break downhill putt.
Oof.
And I thought to myself, I was praying him for him. They was very nervous putts, especially in an environment like that. And he got over the putt, and Jack Nicklaus walked up to him, put his putter in front of the ball, and scooped it up. And he said, "You know what, Don? We saved those for Sunday," and he picked it up and gave him the putt. And I thought that was so cool. Another expression of how incredible Jack Nicklaus and Arnold were.
Oh, that is so cool. Especially the number 1 green is so tough.
Yeah, very tough. Yeah.
That is really a great story. Well, Ron, thank you so much for joining us. We weren't able to connect with Don, but we will another time. And I'm so looking forward to the awards ceremony when your father will be celebrated again and sharing the evening with you and your family. It just absolutely is just such a natural fit that the inaugural class of the Utah Section PGA Hall of Fame would be led by the great T. Branca. And I so appreciate you coming on to spend a few moments talking with us about him today.
It's very awesome that the PGA is doing this. Obviously, I have all the admiration for my PGA brothers and that they're putting together this, and you also, Paul. It's fun working with you in First Tee. It's been a pleasure. Your program is awesome, and you're so good for golf. So thanks again for reaching out to me.
You're very welcome, and I do want to note, I was going to say that, I appreciate you mentioning it. You talked about being retired for 10 years. I love that you have poor retirement skills, because it means that the kids at First Tee get to benefit by working with Ron Branca. We are so grateful and excited every day that you are a part of the First Tee coaching team, Ron. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you. It's fun for me and the great kids. Appreciate you, Paul.
All right, thank you. That is
Bye-bye.
Ron. Bye. That's Ron Branca, Jan. Yeah. It is really something. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, I think that's really cool. And what I really like about the whole thing with him volunteering for the First Tee is that these up and coming kids are going to get to know these legendary people in the Utah golf community. So I think it's the young or the old teaching the young, and then those young will teach the young of theirs.
Yeah, it is really a great thing. Fascinating. T. Branca is such a legendary figure. I wish I would have maybe created the opportunity to meet him before he passed away. I never got that done, but I'm so looking forward to seeing him inducted into the Utah Section Hall of Fame. That is a cool thing. All right, Jan, let's talk about somebody who needs some relief. I Need Relief, brought to us by our friends at Duro Health. Check them out. This innovative back treatment and therapy program will help you swing faster, hit farther, play better, and feel better. Duro Health at durohealth.com. You got to check this out. I'll tell you, it's not who needs some relief this week, Jen. It's what needs some relief. And I'm talking about the number 6 green at Riviera. Did you see this?
Oh, boy.
There is a bunker in the middle of the green, very
Yes.
similar to number three at Black Desert.
Yes.
Okay, par 3. Rory McIlroy hits his tee shot. It ends up on the opposite side of the bunker from the pin. Rory goes out there and does Rory things, and he hit a wedge shot over the bunker, made it spin, and set it down within 2.5 feet of the pin on the other side of the bunker. Took himself a little bit of turf out of the green, you know, and Riviera officially says no bueno, can't do that, but one of us here is Rory and the rest of us aren't. He did it. It was so cool.
Well, and I think, didn't he also have a conversation about how he likes to chip off green? That's how he likes to practice chipping off green, off the greens.
I've missed that.
Yeah, he mentioned
okay.
something about that, and I thought that was very, just because he said he just the real feel of it, the way that he can drop it and stop it, and just he had that conversation about that particular thing.
Well, it was a spectacular shot.
Yeah, it was.
And the green needs a little love now.
Yeah.
And now they've got a great crew. They'll grow it back.
That's just something you don't see very often.
See it very often. No. Let's talk about somebody on a Sizz. On a Sizz, brought to us by Copper Rock. Oh my gosh, I love this golf course.
I bet they're playing Copper Rock today. I bet Copper Rock's open today.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
JK, come on.
No, no doubt. Look, this championship facility is obviously a great championship facility. They host all these championship events there, most notably the Epson Tour event coming again this spring. But it is a fun and accessible and playable
Public
golf course for anybody.
Yeah.
Get yourself to Copper Rock. Website's easy, copperrock.com.
And if you want to pretend that you're on tour that day, you can
do that.
You can absolutely do that.
You can do that because they come there. Okay, I'll tell you who's on a Sizz.
Okay.
And this is Scotty Scheffler after the first round. Boy, this has been so weird what's going on with Scotty.
He did it at the Phoenix Open, and he did it at what's the other?
Well, he's done it 4 weeks in a row now. Where
Yeah.
so at the FedEx, at the Phoenix Open, and also at
I know.
at Torrey Pines for the Farmers. But he did it again this week. The opening round just smells up the joint. Now,
well, if there was a cut
by
on
Scotty's
standards,
standards.
if there was a cut on day one, he wouldn't have made it.
He wouldn't have made the cut if there was a cut
Yeah.
after one day, exactly. And then he goes out and he plays himself into the cut line, and then he goes into the weekend and he plays himself into contention, and his top 10 streak remains intact after shooting a bunch in the first round. What in the world is going on in the first round with Scotty Scheffler? Boy, that's a mystery. But holy cow, he is on a Sizz. Once you get to Friday,
I know what
he's Scotty doing Scotty things.
It's almost like the Seabiscuit of golf, where he's letting everyone get in front of him just enough, where then he just makes that comeback.
Then he does it on turn 4 and down the stretch. Okay.
Good
Amazing
enough.
stuff. All
Good
right, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to catch you up on the Copper Rock Am from last week with Andrew Ahlstrom, and we're going to listen in a little bit on the fitting done yesterday with Spencer Checketts and Jordan Bloxham. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah. In partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. Paul and Jan in studio with you today. This second hour of the show is presented by College Coaches Connection. Check them out at collegecoachesconnection.com to help the kids in your life find the right place for them to play college golf. collegecoachesconnection.com. Jan, this last week, the Copper Rock Am was held, and Andrew Ahlstrom, a senior at Westminster, won the tournament for his first PPR win. Ahlstrom finished at -5, 139 on rounds of 71 and 68 for a one-shot margin of victory over Hayden Howell, who was at -4, 140. Jackson Reese was in solo third, and he was at -3, 141. Jack Summerhays and Peyton Hastings were T4 to round out the top five. They were at -2, 142. Couple things jump out right here right away. Good numbers, but -5 tells us on a field this deep and this strong, Copper Rock is getting ready for the Epsom. It's
Yes,
playing
they
tough
are.
because we're going to play a tape here of a conversation with Andrew Ahlstrom here in a minute. And one thing he will tell you is that the ridge, the back 9 holes coming into the clubhouse, numbers 14, 15, 16, and 17, up there exposed to all that wind. You get a Copper Rock, fan was off. And
What?
yeah, really, right? It was calm.
Oh, that's why we see
But
these.
the numbers still were not stupid low.
No.
The Copper Rock still
Well,
was playing tough.
anything in the red.
Yeah, well, okay,
At a Copper Rock, come on.
valid point. But anyway, look, I'm blabbering on about it. Let's roll the tape, and we've done a podcast about this. You can check out the podcast. This is not the whole conversation with Andrew; it is part of it, but still interesting stuff. So let's roll that tape. Here is the Copper Rock Am champ, Andrew Ahlstrom. That's Andrew Ahlstrom. A lot of really interesting things there about the course and about the tournament. Um, I do think this is a player we need to pay some attention to. He has won on Copper Rock.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. And I mean, listen to his confidence.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff.
Yeah,
All right.
it'll be fun to watch.
We need to shift gears now.
Yes,
I
quickly.
want to play this tape. This is some highlights from the fitting done yesterday that Jordan Bloxham did for Spencer Checketts, and it's a highlight reel. It's going from comment to comment to comment. That's pretty interesting. And I highly encourage you go to wherever you get your podcasts and listen to the whole podcast because it's fascinating. But here's some highlights from Jordan Bloxham and Spencer Checketts at a fitting yesterday. It is really cool. And folks, we've got to run, but the point here, 2 points. Number one, go listen to the rest of the podcast because there's so much in there that's really interesting. Number two, if you have not been fit for clubs, you need to be fit for clubs. Got to do it. All right. Jan, what's next?
You know what's next, Paul.
It is the What's Next segment brought to us by our friends at the Utah Golf Association. Stick around on the other side. We'll put a bow on the show and tell you what's coming up next. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio putting a bow on the show, telling you what's coming up next. Golf Pass is available now, on sale now at utahpga.com. Get yourself some discounts on your golf this coming year, utahpga.com. Jan, you joined the UGA, you get renewed.
I renewed. I get this notification every year. It reminds me to renew my membership to the UGA, and I just hit click, I hit complete, and now I am now an official member of the UGA.
If you are listening to this show and you are not a member of the Utah Golf Association,
what's wrong with you?
Go to UGA.org, click the obvious button,
Join.
or renew, it says join or
Do it.
and make sure you are a member of the UGA.
It usually
right.
does so much for us.
Drive, Chip, and Putt registration is open now. Your kids want to do it. Get them registered. Go to, obviously, drivechipandputt.com. get that done. All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. We so appreciate you being a part of our show. This is Paul Pugmire saying, don't jab it like Jan.
Jan Brownstein reminds you to chug it. Please don't pug it.
Good advice. Please replace your divots, fix your ball marks, and for Andy Curtis, don't spit sunflower seeds on the green.
Stop it.
You're listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.